1 minute warning!
To the goofball army out there, hi at the families, tell them to get to the next room, tell them to go to your neighbors, because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink, because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, oof.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, I'm Rob. And let's get this hump day going.
Hump Day.
Hump day. And hey, Dad, what's up?
I wonder who started that phrase. Like, what decided the term is hump day of all things?
Well, before the term hump meant like the action, it was the middle.
Getting over the hump. I get it. I just say it. Nowadays, it just doesn't work.
Well, it does. It's different. Hump day doesn't have to be a Wednesday.
Schedule that.
It could be 7 days a week.
Every day should be a hump day.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, Giants fans, buckle up. Joe Schoen just had this week the least confident press conference of his tenure.
Yeah.
The offense is reeling. Who can play, who can't. Truth bombs are going to be dropping everywhere here today, guys. This is the bye-week reality check that we just needed here on offense. Let's get into it. So let's get started with the old press conference here that happens every single bye week. So Joe Schoen flat out looked shaken yesterday. Showed up late, leaned on the same line, and all but admitted ownership fired Brian Daboll. Giants fan, this is just not a confident performance he had there. Just not. How do you show up half an hour late to your own goddamn press conference?
Apparently, he was the only one that was late, from what I heard.
Like, what were they hanging out with Abdul Carter?
I guess so. Take a note from his book.
I think Joe Schoen should not be allowed in the first two drives when we get into the bye week. Like that's a crazy thing to think about. The fact that we literally have an issue right now with the Giants having an issue with one of their stars not showing up on time for things. They're finding him apparently early in the year. They said, now twice now you've had a I don't want to say suspend, but it's kind of like a partial suspend, I guess. You're delaying his appearance in the game because of it. I'll put it that way. Yeah. And your own goddamn GM came and still up to his press conference on time. You have the media sitting there half an hour. And let's be honest, guys, there's certain people in this media that were like foaming at the mouth for this press conference because Joe Schoen does not allow himself to talk to the media very often. Does not.
Yeah,
but
purposely
bye week, you got to do it. That's the Giant way. You got to do it. And like Pat Leonard was like celebrating the night before, like you wouldn't believe, probably anticipation and kind of like a journalistic tailgating for this event. Right there with Jordan Ronan and all those guys. So there's not a lot of people. Let's be honest, there's not a lot of media guys that have some balls to ask the tough questions with the Giants. There's not a lot at all. But there's a couple that did, and woohoo, they showed up. They showed up.
Jordan showed up.
Yeah, they definitely showed up at the event. I mean, like I said, he looked flat out shaken and kept saying, "I understand the question." Like, oh, well, we're so glad you have a understanding of the English language. Thank you. We're unsure if you were aware of this, Joe Schoen. Like, what the hell is that?
It was brutal. It was brutal to watch.
Yeah, I almost felt bad for him for a certain degree, which is weird because you know how much I dislike Joe Schoen. So the fact that I felt bad for him, that's how you know how bad it is. Like, at this point, if you're the Giants, you're not gonna go ahead and keep him past this year. let him go. Don't drag this out. Just let him go. And I don't know what their plan is. I don't pretend to know what their plan is. You know, like it's bad, and he knows it's bad. And you could tell he didn't even seem confident he's going to be around next year because of how bad this has gotten.
There was a lot of statements like it was saying in that like category. It's like, well, it's up to the ownership about next year's staff.
Yeah.
Or the personnel is what he said. So like right there.
Well, also the fact
he sees the writing on the wall.
He said the owners were the one who made the decision on Daboll, which we'd heard already that wasn't breaking news. But he flat out said it. How bad of a look is that for the GM to have to say the owners decided to let him go?
Yeah.
So you didn't decide that. The owners did. Like, you're admitting basically that they're making calls over you.
Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, the owner of the teams would have the final say of this team, but the job of the owner is to give that precedence to the general manager.
Yeah. That's
to
what I'm
the
saying.
guy that's going to be
makes those calls, not the owner. And it seems like the ownership didn't trust him to make the call. Or he didn't agree with it and they overrode him.
Which just shows you the lack of confidence they have in Shane.
Like that, they just decided for him. Like, no, we're not going to continue doing this. This is crazy. This is insanity. We got to make decisions. So apparently Joe Schoen didn't think that decision needed to be done, which just tells you right there enough you need to know about Joe Schoen.
It's got to go.
Got to go. Got to go. Like I said, he's not the main problem. I think we got rid of the main problems. But there's still an issue. I mean, it's quite obvious by looking at this team that there's a lack of leadership. And 100%. Whose roster is this? Like, Gettleman has been gone enough years. This is not Gettleman's roster. This is Joe Schoen's.
And leadership starts with him.
Yeah, well, but no, what I'm saying is he's the one who decides to bring in here, though. So if there's no leadership in that locker room, that's on him for not bringing it in.
That's what I'm saying. It starts with him. That's exactly what I said. It starts with him.
Yeah.
He decides the personnel of who's going to go onto this roster. He decides the personnel of who's going to coach that roster. Leadership starts with him. So
yeah. And you know what? Jay brings up a very valuable point. He says, lack of leadership from two giant goofballs showing up late to their podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and take Rob out here for the first quarter of this.
What happened there?
This feels weird. There we go. That's better. I felt weird. That felt weird. I felt weird being on the right side. Anyway. But I just, like I said, it was bad to see. And I think that the biggest thing that I saw that was interesting was actually the very last question he was even asked. The question was, and I'm sorry, the Giants unfortunately didn't say who it was, and I read the transcript as opposed to watching the video for the whole thing, but I watched just the clips and kind of saw his reactions as far as his facial expressions and all. But the last question, it says, is it possible that a coaching candidate might want to have their own GM, that they might not necessarily want to have a pre-existing general manager in place? Joe Schoen says, the calls we've gotten, I think we're going to be able to fill the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't ask you that. The media needs to go back at him. Like, that's not what we asked. Like, I mean, it's quite obvious. Yeah, you're going to find a candidate for the job. But the same things that make this job attractive to coaches, having a young quarterback that a lot of people have faith in, having, a dual running back threat here with Cam Scattaboo and Tyrone Tracy, having Malik Neighbors, having Wan'Dale Robinson, who's again having a great year, having offensive line that looks a lot better and at least looking average. There's a lot of teams that would kill for an average offensive line right now. Having these weapons on the defensive line as far as the pass rush goes, like there is plenty of people that would knock down this door to take this job in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's plenty of GMs that would too. This is I'm telling you guys, this is that situation where anybody's ever been in management and retail management or any kind of management at that point there. When you take over a store, a company, a position, you want a situation where the tools are there, but somebody just hasn't been able to get them to execute. That's the easy win in that role. It's the same with this. He just needs someone to come in, get a couple pieces into there, get some leadership going, get a head coach that actually knows how to coach. And any GM that walks in here looks like a freaking genius the second we start winning.
100%.
So it's not just the head coach job that we can go ahead and fill very easily. It's the GM job that we can fill very easily. And you know what? I don't know. We did the potential coaches segment there. And listen, we got a busy bye week for us guys. We always do a busy bye week. So we do like midseason reports. We're going to start today with the offense. But maybe we should do a segment on options available at GM.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we should look into.
Because
before the year's over.
Yeah, because there's the options out there, guys. There's options out there. And you know what? Sometimes they bring a coach with them. So, you know, and we know the names out there coaching wise. There's big names out there are going to be available this year. We already know that for sure. Regardless of what you think of Mike McCarthy, that's a big name. Regardless of what you think of Chris Shula, because I know he's a first-time head coach. It's not high on my list because of that, but he's a big name out there because a lot of people want him. Then, of course, you got the Tomlin thing. You got the Harbaugh thing about potential guys that could become open because the team's underperforming this year and they've just been there forever. There's GM candidates out there too, guys. And there's guys who are ready to take over a team that won't just sit there and pretend to love a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to feel like you're one of us.
Yeah. I'm so one of you guys. I'm not pretentious.
Yes.
Peanut butter jelly sandwich. My wife
I had
me one every day.
With this organic, non-GMO raspberry spread imported from Rome with this with this almond butter on a brioche bun. And I'm really curious to see how much we get to see behind the scenes coming up soon with Hard Knocks too. Because keep in mind, Hard Knocks is coming, guys. Hard Knocks is coming. Huh?
I said it's starting.
Yeah. So when that comes out, we're gonna see what we get here, you know. But when does that even come on? I'm trying to remember when this starts.
They start. I don't know when the Giants start, but the Giants they already have new episodes on Max.
Okay, so apparently it's premiered yesterday, and I didn't realize I watch actual football. So I'll have to start catching up on that one there. As Bobby Skinner in the house, I'm assuming it's Bobby. I'm assuming he's the one who's the control of the channel there. Said it didn't show up. Yeah, I knew it was coming. I didn't realize it was already out. I knew it was coming in December. Yeah. I think it's going in a day now. So yeah, I'll have to watch that tonight now. But you know what? They're not going to show much in the first, but I feel like that show could totally embarrass us again. You got to wonder if you're Joe Schoen. You see the Hard Knocks guys coming in. Are you like, oh my God, no, not this again?
Well, we saw this bi-week press conference. Maybe he knows what's coming.
I think it'd be kind of funny if Barkley just called them randomly during the show. What do you think? But yeah, it's like I said, there's a lot coming out, guys, and I do think it's time for us to look at candidates. So we will talk about that soon. And I think you can tell by Joe Schoen's reaction on that press conference that there's no guarantee. You asked me a month ago, he's staying no matter what. I really thought, but no, I don't think there's any chance in hell now that we can sit there and say that this is a foregone conclusion he's back.
If they would have came in, they would have won last. If they would have stayed close against the Patriots, you can still kind of make that argument. If they came in and won one game in the past 3 weeks, you can still make that argument.
Yeah.
You fired Daboll, what you said was your problem. Then Bowen, because he's a problem at defense. You got rid of both of them, and we looked the worst against the Patriots. But then we did any other team. At least when we're losing this year, we didn't embarrass ourselves. We were kind of close in the games. There's some games where we're like, yeah, we're not going to win, but at least we played close.
Yeah.
This is the worst game we played all year.
I think the biggest thing is you get into a situation where do you want a clean slate or do you want the continuity? And that's the big thing is, are the Giants going to pull this continuity BS again? But I got to say, part of the reaction I got from him, though, too, is I'm questioning if he even wants to continue. Like, he looked frustrated. He looked upset. And is that him frustrated, upset things aren't going well? Or is he just like, I'm just, you don't always hear everything. Let's be very frank on that. We talk about issues that within the organization that go beyond the coach and GM. Ownership being way too involved, too many mayors involved in football decisions, mayors / McDonald's, whatever you want to say.
They had a farm.
I'm just saying, like, maybe he doesn't want to be there. Maybe that's this part of that, like I said, but nobody, it's like, do you not want to be there in general? Do you not want to be there in front of those reporters?
You also have to look at it as, was he upset because the owners gave him all this room and wiggle room to what he wants for the past 3 years, and they finally came in and said, no, Dave's is fired. Like, you got to do your job. So now it's like he's frustrated because like now it's pressure on him. Now he's going to go in front of the media, which he doesn't like doing. We already know that. And has to answer these tough questions that he's still processing.
And like I said, just a couple of members of the media were calling tough, by the way. Like, there were some of them that were so excited, I guarantee they didn't stand up to ask the questions. Like, that's how excited they were to be there. Like, Joe Schoen doesn't allow himself to talk to media very often. We all know that. But to me, it's clean slate time, guys. Clean slate. And I still say, if I'm the Giants, I'm bringing Tom Coughlin in as an advisor to help us get this straightened. I don't think he wants to be involved full time at his age and stuff like that, but I think it's time to bring somebody to help us right this ship.
Even if you hire him as like
a consultant or something,
a consultant, a light consultant operative, something where it's like
operative. That's a fancy business card name.
It is pretty much saying, yeah, my face is here. I'm going to give some advice, but when it comes to Sunday, I'm hanging out with my family.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Not necessarily a full time like that. He just be on board for the first 6 months to go ahead and help get this thing going, because he's still a very, very smart football guy. Like, he still knows his stuff, guys. I don't know. I just throwing it out there. We just need something different, including a different GM. So, all right, let's get into our review of the players, guys. So every season we do this during the bye week. Ironically enough, the fact that Bobby was here in the chat, because he actually helped me the first season. I think you weren't able to make it for some reason, Rob. I think you got a work thing.
I did.
But we're going to be doing our offensive breakdown, which is like most things with this team, just offensive. We're going to go over all the big names in this offense, including going over the offensive line, talking about all the stuff here going on with this team, and kind of giving you guys a grade where we think the guys are at. Are they part of the problem? Are they part of the solution? All that kind of fun stuff there, because there's a lot of potential issues here, guys. A lot of potential issues. So listen, Jackson Dart, though, he's played only 8 starts, and he already sits 18th in total touchdowns amongst all quarterbacks. Upside is absolutely real, but the consistency questions about him staying on the field specifically do still remain. I mean, this kid, 10 games, 8 starts, 63.6 completion percentage, 1,556 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 61 carries, 337 yards, 7 touchdowns. This is a damn good rookie year. I think he's definitely blown past what I expected of him. How about you, Rob?
100%. He's also made NFL history for what? 5 straight games as a rookie with 1 throwing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown consecutively. So, he's making NFL rookie history. Like, yeah.
I'm sure he's broken a lot of records. They have so many weird records in football. It's like he's the first person to throw a touchdown while chewing a stick of bubble gum and standing on one leg.
It's a pretty impressive stat.
I'm just saying they pick the weirdest goddamn stats. It's like he's the first person to have 13 games of throwing a pass and running once and sitting on the bench and drinking Gatorade. Like they do the weirdest goddamn stats sometimes.
It's not that complicated. It shows that he could rush the football and then throw the football. That's what that stat shows. And he's consistent. And I hear what you're saying.
Stats out of my butt here about what things he's done. And I feel like anytime somebody's impressed by a player, that's what they do. You know, like it's the craziest thing here. You know, he's the first player in NFL history to go out there and rush the ball after eating a bowl of macaroni and cheese. Like, what the hell? Like, who holds on to these stats sometimes? It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you want to go down to like Michael Vick, you think about a great rookie, just a great Russian quarterback that was also able to throw the ball. And Lamar Jackson. If you want to go down to Patrick Mahomes, not saying he's better than any of those guys.
Yeah.
But he played better the rookie year because stat-wise in his first 5 games.
I mean, like I said, we said it before this way. I think it's probably the best way to word it. I already think he's an above-average quarterback, but I think he has elite potential. And that's the thing. Potential.
Yes.
I'm not saying he's elite, but there's only going to be, maybe 15 quarterbacks that would be in the conversation of would you rather have this guy or Jackson Dart? And you actually have to think about it. I'm not even saying you'd pick them over that because the age thing is going to be a tiebreaker a lot of times, obviously, with him. But he's already in that category. The big thing we know with him, obviously, is the fact that he's got to learn to stop taking these goddamn hits.
Yep.
Like he's just got to. And the other thing to me is I still think when I watch him play, the big thing I think is he's got a little more touch on those deep balls. That's the one thing I see is I don't necessarily see the accuracy of the deep balls. And you know what? Maybe he just doesn't ever develop that. Like every single player has their issue. You know what I mean? Like nobody is perfect except for me, but otherwise no one is perfect.
Perfect for Florida.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Able to throw a gator through a Wendy's drive-through window. It's Florida man. That's the actual story, by the way.
It is. But it's also hard to say about the deep ball. Like, to do a shame to you, I understand the question. I understand what you're saying there.
I understand the question.
Let's go back to how the Giants offense has been ran for the past multiple years. There's not many deep balls that have been thrown down there. And with the talent that's around him, are they really throwing to that level potential where he can get at? So he's made some great deep plays.
So deep.
And how much? Oh, so deep. How much is that on Dart, or how much is on the receivers not getting open how they're supposed to be, or how much is that the coach is scheming, not working out where it's supposed to go?
There's always things we don't know because, like I would say, we don't know the play as well. So sometimes you see a pass, you're like, "What the hell? That was a bad throw." But sometimes it's a bad route run. Sometimes it's just he's doing something just to go ahead and you know what I mean, like get it out of there and not get a hit somewhere and has it just in the vicinity of a receiver. There's things we don't always see, especially watching TV because they'll focus on the ball instead of focusing what's going on in the pocket, which again makes sense. You got to do that from the TV aspect, but you don't always know. But I think to me, like everything else that I see in this kid is stuff that you learn over time, like getting timing in the pocket. That's the thing you learn over time. Like, he takes that 1 split second extra almost, it seems like, in the pocket when you just should throw it away. That's a rookie thing. You see it all the time. Aaron Rodgers, example of that. Aaron Rodgers was the guy the first couple of years getting hit like crazy because he'd held onto the ball forever, waiting for a receiver to open instead of just, throwing it and then hoping the receiver is going to be open basically because you have confidence in him. He just held on to it too long. It's typical. It's typical. Yeah, it's to me, it's the hits, it's the deep ball. And the deep ball may never come, but the hits thing's got to get fixed. And this is not soccer comedy he had after the game on Monday. Like, he's got to realize, and maybe it doesn't matter right now because the Giants are so shitty, and maybe that's part of the problem. But, like, we could have won those 2 games if he was in. And no offense to Jameis, so we'll get to in a minute here. Don't tell me Dart's not a better quarterback than Jameis. So you could have had a potential upgrade at the most important position on the team. And you lost the game, 2 games, sorry, that you could have easily won. And don't get me wrong, it's not Dart's fault we lost. There's other issues, obviously. I'm not trying to throw that out there. But somebody to sit him down point blank and say, hey, we could have won the last 2 games if you just had done your shit right the week before. If you just didn't take those hits. If you didn't try to get that extra yard that didn't even matter. Didn't even matter.
Yeah. You have to sit him down and be real. Like, that's who you are. We get that. You need to play that game smarter.
Yep.
That yard you didn't need that you tried to stretch, that yard you tried to need that didn't matter. Why would you go for it? Just go down.
I thought he was, with that first hit he took from Harold Landry in the game against the Patriots, I really thought that he got it to a certain degree. It was just he was a split second late on going down, but he went to go down. Like I was like, okay, good. Maybe kids learn something. The big play for me is the sideline hit, which again, 100% legal. I know a lot of Giants fans are still upset about it. I hear people still talking about it in comment sections and all. No, that was a 100% legal hit. The issue was, again, he went for that first down. He went to turn it back up at that point and go straight when he was already angling. Take the goddamn yards you got and live the fight of the day. You know, like that's what it is.
That one was a hard one too, because that's also who he is. He's trying to make the play, because at that point we were still in the game.
I get it, but you still got to figure it out. It's more important that we have you for the following weeks than we have you for that one play.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the problem. He's got to figure that out there. And like I said, I don't think he will, to be very frank with you. I'm just hoping he meets us in the middle somewhere. That's all I'm asking. Meet me in the middle. And
meet me in the middle.
Maybe he gets a real coach next year who teaches him these things. Because we know Brian Daboll was, too busy at that point trying to be buddy with him. They're probably trying to make plans with him after practice to go to movies and dinner or something, because Daboll is just too player friendly. And Kafka's quite frankly in over his head. No offense to him on that. I don't even mean that as like a nasty thing. He's just, you got a guy who's never been a head coach with guys that he's trying to rein in. Like, that's not easy. That's a difficult position for a veteran coach to come into. For a rookie, especially for guys already there, like that's a difficult thing to go in and all of a sudden get a promotion within the same building and have to have people listen to you at a higher level than they ever did. That's not easy, guys.
And especially in Kafka's position, because like we all watched that whole like shit show unravel. Like Kafka's calling a place, he's not calling a place. He's Kafka's calling a place, he's not going to go a place. He's going to be here. Oh, don't leave. We see you trying to leave. Don't leave. Here's an assistant position job. Oh, we kept you here because we watched you here, but also we're taking the plays away from you again. And be the head coach, because the players already respect you for everything that just happened.
Yeah, but again, the problem is that Kafka's had these talks with Dart, but he's not listening. Same as he's had the conversation with Carter about showing up on time to places, and he's not listening. Because he's and again, I mean it with respect, because I have no hate whatsoever for Kafka. I really don't. He's gotten the raw deal from the Giants with everything going on with Daboll. But he's in over his head. Flat out in over his head. And I'd rather still have him over his head than keeping Daboll. So
I haven't seen enough to justify if he was at another team and had this opportunity mid-season that he couldn't rein these players in. But because of the past 4 years and his presence at the Giants, it's too much. If he came in and he was straight up the OC and they said, okay, now you could sit there and be the interim head coach, the players might respect him a little more, but they all saw him trying to run away. And that's going to be your leader, the guy that's trying to get out of Dodge before you guys are getting out of Dodge. It's too much.
It is. So, all right, let's get on to the next one here. So, Jameis Winston's 2-game sample, absolute chaos in a bottle there. Classic volatility that just never dies when it comes to Jameis. 2 games in total, 56.9 completion percentage, 567 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, that perfect 1-to-1 Jameis Winston ratio. 7 carries, 23 yards, and a touchdown. 1 reception for 33 yards and a touchdown. That's a stat line that no other quarterback has in this Giants team right now. Well, a reception and a reception touchdown. But listen, Jameis is exactly what you and I hoped he was. You know, like, he is 100% what I hoped he was going to be. He's a fun to watch player. He's a great guy in the locker room. Like, the teammates love him. You can tell the teammates just freaking love him. And he worked great as a mentor for Jackson Dart. And when he comes in and plays, you're not like, oh my God, we're done now. We're going to put up like 5 points.
No, you knew you were going to get points. You also didn't know how many points he's going to get for the team.
Yeah, and that's part of it.
Let's go back to that Green Bay game. He was the reason why we were in that game. He was also the reason why we lost the game.
Oh, Jalen Hyatt was, but.
But the reason why we almost won the game?
No, it was the reason we lost the game.
Yeah.
And not completing that goddamn route. I'm still pissed about that. I hold a grudge.
Just saying. That's part of it. Look at the lines. Who would have thought? I know, Drew, you did. You thought we were going to get blown out.
100%.
Overtime.
100%.
You also thought about agreement. Who started? Jameis Winston. Proved you wrong. Love it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just absolute craziness there. But like I said, he is exactly what we thought he's going to be. And he's absolutely perfect for what the role is he has. And I listen, I know he's going to be here next year, obviously. I hope he's here long term. I really do. I like having him on the roster. I like having him here. But, you know, I do think also that he beat out Russell Wilson, who we'll get to obviously next year. And that can't be understated. Like, you literally got a guy, a 14-year vet, that's now a third quarterback because you played that well when you got the chance. You know, and I'm shocked, to be very frank, that no one's given him another shot to be a starting quarterback. I really am. And I'm not saying that Jameis Winston is ever going to be an elite quarterback. But let's say we didn't get Jackson Dart. Let's say hypothetically we didn't go ahead and get get Jackson Dart and we draft like a second or third round quarterback or whatever next year. Why would you not bring in a guy like Jameis Winston?
That was
also, I comment. Russell Wilson's not going to be here next year. We already know that.
1 year contract. He's done toast.
1 year contract.
That's all common.
Jameis is going to be here next year. Jameis is on a 2-year deal.
Yeah, I was about to say he was on 2 year. I saw a comment before about that. I mean, we were being the drum up in this guy to be competition for DJ.
We wanted to be competition.
I don't think he's ever going to be the elite quarterback in this league, even though he's number 1 overall. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback or good quarterback, but he's a quarterback that you can put in that's going to be serviceable. You put him on, you bring him over to Seattle because that seems to be a team that revives a lot of quarterbacks that went to the graveyard. He's probably going to play some good football.
He's going to be stuck behind Sam Darnold there. He won't go there, that's for sure. But
I'm just saying, as a team, it's a framework. Even in Minnesota, you can bring him over there to.
It's all a mute point. But what I'm just getting at is, let's say your team like New Orleans. Why would you not want to bring him back? You know what I mean? And let a guy sit for a little while at that point. But they're not going to do it. Giants are going to hold on to him. And it is what it is. Like I said, I hope he's here long term. I really do. I would love for him to be the guy that's here for like 6-7 years. And don't get me wrong, he'll be like retirement age at that point. So like 30, 31, I think he is.
Yeah, 31, right?
Yeah, something like that. So, maybe not that long, maybe 5 years. But I would love for him to be around just because of the pure entertainment he provides. Like his stuff keep popping up on my TikTok too. He's funny as hell. He just loves life, man. Like, how can you not root for somebody that just loves life the way he is? And I think he's one of the rare people that understands. And let's be honest, his career hasn't exactly panned out like he wanted to be. It's the number 1 overall pick. But he's still a long-time NFL veteran that gets paid to throw a football around every so often.
He's also there for the mentor and for the sideline leadership.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
Plays a big role. It really
No,
does.
but I'm saying, like, that's what he gets paid for a living, and he loves it because he understands and respects the fact that he gets to do what millions of people wish they could.
He's going to retire in the next 5 years and probably become like a motivational speaker.
Oh, he'll be on
Like doing
Fox
a
Sports.
job with
Right
CBS.
now.
Yeah.
He'll be on Fox Sports.
Oh, is that a bet? Fox Sports or CBS?
Well, he's already worked with Fox Sports, is why I'm saying that.
Who knows?
So
We'll find out.
yeah, like I said, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So let's get to the man of the hour, Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson's production has not exactly matched the expectations. That's for sure. The efficiency just isn't there, and there's pretty much no ceiling left at all. Let's be honest. 6 games in, 58 percent completion percentage, 831 yards, but I think 75% came against the Cowboys.
I was about to say,
touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 18 carries, and 106 yards. He's lost his job to Jackson Dart. Then he lost his backup job to Jameis Winston. He's just done. Like, again, I don't want to be rude about it. Like, there's some guys I have no problem ragging on. And I feel like enough people are ragging on Russell Wilson. I don't need the guy to throwing that on top of that. Not that he cares what I think, let's be honest, but
yeah, he was a great quarterback when he was in his prime. He came out, played pretty strong his rookie year. He also had an amazing defense at the time. So when he threw interceptions, they got him the ball back because he had one of the best defenses in the NFL. So he was able to develop and play good, fundamental, serviceable, systematic quarterback play.
well, I mean,
for a long time in NFL.
He did work well for him because he moved out of the pocket. He moved around. He got around where he can see things because he can't see over the goddamn offensive line because he's
in his youth
quarterback.
And that's what I was getting at. In his youth, when that system was working, he was able to run the ball. He was a throw first quarterback, but he was able to run the ball. He started losing a step. Sneaky Pete saw that and got rid of him.
Yep.
And exposed him. And he's just 5 years older since that happened. Hasn't gotten any better for him.
Like I said, he's just I really think this year has shown he's done. And the fact that he's not even active on the roster and he's not even dressing, it just tells you that. And like I said, I still think he holds a role in this team, though, to a degree as well, because he's a longtime quarterback. He's another set of eyes on Dart. He's another set of another voice for Dart to listen to. And like anybody, when you bring a veteran, no one's perfect. Like, there's things you listen to, things you don't listen to. Like, any advice for how to deal with teammates, don't listen. Like, that's just, he obviously had issues with teammates over the years, but he's still a guy 14 years in with a Super Bowl. Probably should have had a second one. If it wasn't for the whole stupid throw into the end zone, he could have just, given Marshawn Lynch the ball 3 times. But like I said, he still has a value in that regard. But I think that it's just it's time. It's time for him to walk away.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping at the end of the year he does that. And I'm hoping he has the conversation with Seattle. He goes back home and he has that retirement speech and they celebrate what he did, because it was the greatest era of Seattle Seahawks football ever. There's something to be said for that. So like I said, I just think that we gotta understand what it is. It's just the guy at the end who doesn't want to quit, and I get it. Like, if I was a player, I probably wouldn't want to quit either, because if I love doing it, why would I want to? Like, he was Willie Mays at Shea Stadium. That's what he was. It was done. It was over. Like, time to hang it up. Don't put that Met uniform on, Willie.
I was about to say, why she had to bring Willie Mays?
It's because the truth. Willie Mays turned into Willie Mays Hayes in the end. At the beginning of the movie. At the beginning of the movie. So, all right. Let's get into running backs here. So, we're going to start off, of course, with this current starting running back here. Tyrone Tracy just continues to flash both speed and reliability. But the explosive breakout really hasn't arrived this season here. 11 games in. Obviously missed a couple games of injury. 113 carries, 434 yards, 3.8 yards per carry average. 1 touchdown, 22 catches, and 203 yards. So listen, not horrible production. Like, I don't want to make it seem like that, but he's definitely a step down from where he was last year. But if we're being honest about this, guys, he was a step down last year. Most of his yards came in the beginning half of the season of him starting. Like, he had 3 or 4 games. He really didn't get the ball much.
About that. It took Singletary 4 games. Singletary got hurt. Maybe week 5.
Once he got in, it battered to hell for 5 weeks. And then the tail end of the year, which wasn't good. And I feel like that's just what he's become now. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's not a bad player. And again, he was a 5th round pick. So you got a good value out of this kid.
And there's a lot more to that too, because at the beginning of the year, when he started playing, DJ was still here. There's more confidence of punishing DJ. No one had any footage on Tracy. And then towards the end of the year,
about stopping Daniel Jones of the Giants. You just say that.
No. I'm just saying Tracy Jr. was a rookie. No one knew who he was. So you're looking at a rookie quarterback or the guy that's been here that's supposed to be your franchise quarterback. Who are you going to target first?
I hear you. I'm just saying.
I'm not. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You go to any other organization. You look at the guy that's been there for 4 years, or the rookie guy that just took over for the guy that just got hurt. Who's the guy you're focused on?
For a game or 2 of him doing well, somebody should have figured it out. I'll put it that way.
It took 5 games.
But listen, he got hurt towards the end of the year. Kept playing through it there last year. He's got hurt now twice this year. He left with a hip injury the last game. We don't even know what's going on with that. Look at that. Rob just coughed himself off the screen here. He coughed himself off the screen. But we just don't know what's going on. Maybe the injuries is part of it. Maybe he just needs to get healthy. Maybe it's also part of the offensive line, because the offensive line is a better pass blocking offensive line than they are a run blocking offensive line. That's just if the numbers show it. But like I said, I don't know. I feel like he hasn't quite reached the potential where I wanted. And I do think the Giants will look at getting another mid-round running back in this upcoming draft again to kind of complete and make a trio at that point there. But listen, Tracy is a good player overall. I just don't know if he'll ever be a great player. I don't think he ever will be, to be honest with you. I think this is what he is. He's the guy that's going to put up close to 1,000 yards a season, combined rushing and receiving. And that's not bad. Not everybody has to be a goddamn star. I've said it all the time. It's the truth. Get yourself solid football players. Tyrone Tracy Jr. is a solid football player. That's what he is. And I hope he's around for quite a while. As long as he's this productive, I'll take it. So next up, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself. Cam Scatterbo has really shown some burst and red zone value there, but the volume obviously just hasn't been there because of the injury. Now we got to figure out what he's going to be coming back next year as, obviously, as well. But amazing start to the season once he got in because of the injury to Tracy. 8 games, 410 yards, 4.1 yards per carry average, 5 touchdowns, 24 catches, 207 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And quite frankly, he's played better than any other running back that we have on this roster right now. And the only concern we have with him, obviously, next year is what's going to happen with this injury. And that's part of why I keep on saying I do think that we need to go ahead and figure out another running back potentially this draft because of that. We don't know how he's coming back. Tracy, I don't think is a pure number 1 running back, but I'm hoping Scatterbo is back to his old self next year again. He was fun to watch. There's not a lot of times as a Giant fan you go, that player's fun to watch. We haven't had a lot of that guys lately. This is one of those guys that we can sit there and say that he was fun to watch. So, I hope he's around for quite a while. I think he's great as a short yardage, red zone back that every so often is going to have a really good game and just keep him in and let him do his thing. I really think that's what Cam Scatterbo is. 4.1 yards per carry. That's not exactly crushing it. But again, it's because of the role he plays. He's running right up the gut. He's hitting into people. He's a great guy to bring in the fourth quarter when the defense is already tired and doesn't want to get hit anymore. And I think every year, there's guys that come out in the mid rounds that produce. And I think this is that guy. Like, I think he's a legit football player. I think Cam Scatterbo is. And I think if you throw him in there with Tracy, maybe go get a third guy, like I said, in this next draft, we have a damn good running back room then. A damn good running back room. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And Jay just brought up the point I was going to make here, culture-wise. When he was there with Jackson Dart, those guys were starting to change the culture, get things exciting, get people moving. You've noticed that's kind of changed since he left.
It has. And we talked about it early in the season when I was like, this is our future. I talked about when Scatterbo and Dart were in the backfield, talking about the different offensive line, defensive line, and how they're matched up and how they call it audible. Like, as a camaraderie. That's something that's going to be the future for the Giants. There was a little step back, but, I mean, since then, it was 2 weeks later. Dart's out for 2 weeks, so he had Winston in there. So it was a little different. And last week was just – it was terrible. That's what last week was.
I feel like Scatterbo was like part running back, part mascot.
He is the James Winston of running backs. He's a motivator. He gets people going. Like,
he doesn't throw
that. Well, he just has to because he doesn't throw the ball. But I'm just saying, like, he's the guy that gets you're around that energy, and you just get that energy. He just, just portrays his energy outwards. It's infectious.
I just like I said, I just love the energy this kid has. Like, it's hard not to root for him. It really is. And I like I said, I gotta hope that everything he comes back next year from this injury good and comes back to be his old self. Listen, he's young. That's a huge factor right there. And from everything you see, it was kind of a clean break. It wasn't like a nasty, like twisting kind of like fracture. So listen, we'll see. I mean, I should say this nasty twisting kind of fracture. What I mean by that is it wasn't like a spiral fracture or something like that. People that know medical terms there. Obviously, there was a moving around here because the whole ankle came off there. But
yeah, that's very common for that injury. Dislocation with it was the tibia, right? Not the fibula, it's the tibia that broke. But we also had one of the major ligaments on the side. And it's very common for those ligaments are very strong.
Yeah, people do come back from it. It's not unheard of, So best case scenario, as I see Anthony saying that with the injury, best case scenario is he comes back into the training camp and he's the regular guy. That's what it is. I mean,
if you guys watched Scott play video games online, he still hasn't lost a step with his capacity mentally. He's still an animal.
Yep.
I think he brings that back out there. I don't think he's going to lose. He's going to have a fear of running that ball.
Also, I see the comments in the about asking about Eric Gray and asking for one reason. Maybe you should ask Joe Schoen one reason why we're keeping Eric Gray, because I'm sure he'll understand the question.
Yes.
All right. We got one more running back to go over before we start hitting the wide receivers here. Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary's efficiency has definitely dipped here a little bit, but he's still getting work. He's still doing his thing, and it's still a valuable part of the running back room overall. 13 games in, 86 carries, 306 yards, 3.6 yards per carry average, 3 touchdowns, and 12 catches for 126 yards. It's an interesting role he has. It really is, because I feel like beyond the stat sheet of looking at his age and how many years he's been in there, Devin Singletary is your veteran running back, meaning like you have 1 yard left, especially ever since Scatterbo left. You're putting Singletary in, so you trust him to get 1 yard. You're in a situation where you're deep in your own territory and you're worried about getting a fumble and having an issue of a safety or from a sack or something like that. Like, you're putting Devin Singletary in because the team trusts him. They trust him to be that solid veteran that just does the simple things right. And that's what he is at this point in his career.
Yeah. I mean, he finally got used a little more the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
And he started playing, I want to say he played a little bit better, the past 2 weeks, but Still not great.
Like I said, quietly, he had a good game, this past week. 68 yards, 5.7 yards per carry average, a touchdown. Like, he had quietly a very good game. But he's just nowhere near what he was with the Bills and all. With the Bills, he was a 4.5 yards per carry average guy. With the Giants so far, let me see, he's been 3.7 yards per carry.
Oh, damn, I was about to guess that.
He was 4.7 with Buffalo, 3.7 with the Giants. But if you go in, he had that 1 year with the Texans. He was 4.2. I think he's just losing it. Like, it's just it is what it is. But he's a solid backup running back. He's 28 years old, so he's kind of getting towards the end of it there. Let's be honest. That's 30s when you start to die for regular people, 30s when you actually die for his running back. This is probably the last hurrah, guys, for him.
I think he's got a couple of years left, not with the Giants. I think he's got a couple of years left with a similar role what he has now. He's been a guy that was pretty much behind Josh Allen, had some good years because you weren't worried about running the ball because you got a guy that can also run and throw the ball very efficiently. And they went to a Texans team that had a pretty good offensive line at the time and still couldn't make it sure. A lot better. And still couldn't produce what he did in Buffalo. And then he went to a Giants team that had a terrible offense and a bad quarterback. And it's a no-brainer. He's having the worst career of his the worst couple of years of his career.
But like I said, I think it's the age more than anything else. I really do, because you see that he's in there with Tracy. He's in there with Scadaboo, and he looks the worst of the three. I mean, the only guy he looks better than is Eric Gray. And let's be honest, I probably look better than Eric Gray.
I would, since it's Scadaboo, because Tracy was the starter at the beginning of the year. Singletary was the back.
Yeah.
Tracy got injured. Scadaboo blew up. Scadaboo came there one real fast with Tracy being quiet in the back. It's just the way it worked because it's what was working for the Giants. The past couple weeks, he's looked better. He's put up some yards. I don't think this is his last hurrah. This is not a Russell Wilson situation. I think he goes somewhere else, plays another 2 or 3 years. And he has the role he's playing now.
Well, I mean, this is the role you give him, but I just don't know. But I'll say this: he will not be on the team next year, guys. Point blank.
Nope.
He's got a $6.5 million cap hit next year. We saved $5.25 million by cutting him. So, yeah, we're gonna 5.25. That's why I keep telling people. I see people all the time. Oh, the Giants have no money. The Giants have no money. Shut up. Giants will be fine. You got just even cutting Graham Gano and Devin Singletary. You got almost $10 million right there. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I don't know why I said don't worry about that already. It's December. Stop. Let's worry about that in February. We'll figure it out. Whoever the next GM is.
Yeah.
You'll understand the question. He'll figure it out. Don't you worry.
I understand he was trying to save money, but at the same time, he blew a lot of money.
Oh, my gosh. All right, guys. Let's pay the bills real quick. We'll right back. We'll get to the wide receivers and the offensive line before we head on out for the night.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys. It's time for a very fun group, I feel like, right now. The wide receivers, because people are clamoring like crazy for more receivers. let's get into actually how they're actually performing here. Number one, obviously, you got to start with the guy we barely saw this year, Malik Neighbors, because Malik Neighbors looks exactly like the playmaker he was drafted to be: explosive, fearless, and the wide receiver number one. Unfortunately, we just don't get to see him right now because he's dealing with the injury and the recovery, obviously. 4 games in, he was 18 catches, 271 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I got no beef with it. That's an 1,200 yard reception year. Can't complain with that.
And that's what Russ.
Player.
That's what mostly Russ. So,
not to mention the fact that he didn't even play the whole Chargers' 4th game there, obviously. It was what, the second quarter that happened or something like that, the third quarter? He missed like half the game, I want to say.
Yeah. I forget it was in the second or beginning of the third. But he barely had any time to play with. He barely had any time to play with Dart. He was playing with Russ, who was inept. And most of the yards came against the Cowboys. Have Dart play with Neighbors next year should be a lot of fun. As long as Neighbors comes back mostly healthy. And I think even if he comes back 80% off that injury, next year he still has probably like a 1,100 yard season because the ball gets spread out.
Yeah. And I did the math, by the way. If I was right, and it's right around the halftime when he left, you figure that means he was in 7 halves of football. Divide by 7 times 17 times 2. 1,316 yards he would have had. Which is basically what he did last year.
Right.
So like I said, I got no beef with anything. The only thing I want with him is I want them to start chucking the ball up to him. Stop chucking the ball like they were doing. I do think that they kept on just heaving it to him and hoping he's just going to come down with it. And that's how he got hurt. And you're going to get yourself hurt when you're not a big receiver like that. He's not a big guy. Like, he's a tiny guy. So, you know, I think that that's what we got to figure out. I do think that it's good that he got the year off with the foot injury he's been dealing with ever since LSU. I think that we got to be a little careful, though, because, you know, the first year we always say with guys coming from ACLs, they're not the same the first year. You know?
Yeah. Well, the one plus two is that he's not going to be the only guy that's able to catch ball as long as Dart's behind there. They're going to diversify the ball, and I think you're going to see a little more out of him with less balls thrown towards him.
Yeah. By the way, Maddie says he's not tiny. 6 foot even, 200 pounds even. And those who know what happens in the NFL, when they say you're 200 pounds even, that means you're only probably 195.
Maybe 190.
That's what they do. So, yeah, you know, he's tiny. You can see it. But, you know, I think that you got to bring him back next year. I think you got to go ahead and throw him back in a different way. Like, he's got to understand that he has a role in this team, and his role is not to complain. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what he's got to do, because I feel like that's what he kept doing. I'm not getting the ball enough. I'm getting pouty. I'm getting like, I don't want that kind of wide receiver. And I think that's one of the things that whoever we get as a head coach has got to figure out a way to warm up to him and have these conversations to get him to be more team than him. Now, the one thing I will throw back out there, I'll kind of throw it against myself there. We haven't seen him in a winning team yet. Like, would he be pouty and complaining about not getting the ball if they're winning? I don't know.
Think so.
But I just
not to the degree.
Thing.
You would hope he'd be better than what the Eagles are dealing with Brown.
Oh, yeah. Brown is just his own headache. He's always been.
Yeah. He's very content with 132 yards and a loss.
It seems like that. And that's an issue. And that's what I'm saying. We just don't know how Neighbors is like that because we haven't seen Neighbors win. You know what I mean? We've only seen him losing. So I don't know what to think there. So, you know, again, we just got to hope he comes back next year. He's good to go. Because imagine this offense right now, guys. This offense is basically average right now. While missing our biggest number one wide receiver, we're missing our number one running back. And we're still an average offense.
with an average offensive line, which is pretty impressive right there.
Well, that's a good thing. We'll get to them in a little bit there. But yeah, that's like I said, I just think that's a big thing there. And I think that you got to figure out what you're doing here overall with them and get them in a role and have that conversation with them when you're developing whatever new offense we're going to have starting next year. So, all right, let's get on to a guy who has played this year and played very well. Wan'Dale Robinson just absolutely continues to be the offense's chain mover. But there's still some ceiling questions that remain for some people there. And listen, I mean, great year he's having. 13 games in, 73 catches, 828 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 carries for 2 yards as well, just throwing everything stat-wise. But, you know, it's just absolutely crazy here, guys, how good he has been again. And this is the Wan'Dale Robinson that Rob and I have been talking about for years. This is the Wan'Dale we expected. And
but he should have been. He's had a very bad couple of years to start his career. You know, rookie year, start coming out, tears ACL, comes back the next year, looks like a guy who's come back off an ACL injury. And then you have DJ throwing the ball and always behind the line of scrimmage, what it feels like.
Yep.
You throw the guy the ball a little deeper, and he's making some plays.
And we got to figure out a way to sign him, point blank. We have to find a way to sign him. And if we don't, I'm going to be pissed. And I'm telling you, watch him go somewhere else to become like
It'd be a
an
stud.
Ross St. Brown kind of guy. Like I don't know if he's ever reached his full potential here because of what's going on. I think this is the first year we've seen him.
Yeah, Amara is a little stretch, but yes.
You know?
I
understand we already got Slayton paid and stuff like that, but they're going to figure it out. I'm telling you right now, they're going to figure it out because Slayton's not here probably in the long term the way things are going. Let's be honest. And you lose Wan'Dale. You think the receiver room's bad now. You lose Wan'Dale, what happens? Like Neighbors, we don't know what he's going to be next year coming off an ACL. You need Wan'Dale Robinson.
I was going to say, you're going to need him just to help. He's going to be the Nightwing to that Batman. He's not going to be the Robin.
Not even Robin, Nightwing, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to be there to help pick up Batman. He's not going to be quite on his level, but he's going to be there that's on his level come back from that injury.
Yeah, and I think we will draft receivers as well, don't get me wrong. But this is the guy. This is the one guy that you have besides Neighbors that you can go, okay, legit, solid. Just what he is. You know what I mean? Like, that's just where you're at this point with it. So, you know, I think you'll definitely figure something out there with him as far as keeping him. I just don't see how you don't. But the big thing for me with him is you see him down the line a little bit more. He's getting obviously a much better depth of target, which is helping, which is what you and I were nonstop last year about. You know, like, hey, there's a guy who you can't expect him to get a ton of yards, but he's getting the ball 3 yards down the field. Like, even if he doubles his yardage with the yak, he's going to be 6 yards a catch. Like, you can't have an amazing year with that.
No, I mean, he works the best. Put him like in a slant into like a slight slant kind of situation.
Yep.
Put him down a little bit down the field, and like he just, like I saw a comment before, he's not your outside guy. So that's
never going to be.
That's not stretched out. Like what we're trying to say.
He's primarily a slot guy. Is what he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
so like he definitely will be. He's been a crutch this year, and he's definitely going to be a crutch next year. Especially when a lot of people are going to be covering when Neighbors comes back and be covering Neighbors as a top receiver and not Wan'Dale.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the crazy thing is you look at what's going on here. Wan'Dale's number 7 right now in yards in the NFL. Number 7. Think about the guys he's beating out right now. Drake London, Devonta Smith, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, like Jalen Waddle, CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs,
Lamb also
Devontae Adams. Like, he's beating out some big name people right now. You know, like that's just what it is. Like, he's very quietly having a really good year. Like, I don't feel like you hear him being talked about as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You don't hear him being talked about when somebody comes into town. You don't hear the opposing team going, we have to figure out how to beat the Giants and how to go ahead and stop Wan'Dale Robinson. You don't hear it.
No.
And what's crazy is he's doing all this, guys, but his yards per catch average is still 10 yards. It's still low. Like, that's a little insanity at this point where he's at. So, but I'm sorry, I look at the wrong one. 11.3, that's still low. 11.3 is still low. Numbers tied for 7th overall, by the way, in catches as well. And if you look at the numbers here for Wandale versus Amon-Ra St. Brown, as I mentioned him before, give you a comparison. St. Brown, 75 catches, 884 yards, 9 touchdowns. Wandale, 73 catches, only 2 less, 828 yards, so 60 yards less, and 3 touchdowns. He's not quite at that level, but he's doing good. He's doing good. And again, you got to take into account that he's doing this partially because that Neighbors is out. Like, you'd be a fool not to point that out. But he's still showing you he can do it. Not everyone can.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, if we don't keep him, he goes somewhere else and beats the number 2 somewhere and puts up the same numbers.
Yep.
Because when you have like a Neighbors or Amon-Ra St. Brown, like, that's the guy that's going to get double coverage first.
Yeah.
So and he still put up those yards. So that's when your Nightwing comes in and puts up the similar yards.
I just don't know if he's going to have the market that a lot of receivers have. I don't know.
It's hard. Depends on his agent.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Depends on the NFL, what it depends on. What does the NFL think of him as? Because, again, you don't hear him in this conversation of top running backs this year. He's got top 10 stats.
Yeah, receiver.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, I guess, this offseason. So let's get to the guy we did pay. Darius Slayton, because fans call him overpaid. But the numbers actually show he's cheaper per yard than Jefferson, Lamb, Chase, and Brown when cap hits are compared. Here is his numbers right now. 10 games, 26 catches, 407 yards, and 1 touchdown. I mean, he's on pace to have basically
what he's done.
Yeah, 100% a Darius Slayton year. Like, I feel like the problem we've run into is we're counting on him to do stuff that he just doesn't do. Like, he is a 700-yard guy. We've said that every year we talked about it, Darius Slayton. He's a 700-year guy. Well, guess what? 407, 10 games. The math's not difficult. 40.7 yards per game, times 17, 692 yards. He's doing exactly what he always does, right around that 700 yards. Now, again, we know I love doing the math. I'm doing the math here. I'm doing the math. So I looked at guys who have gotten big contracts. I'm looking at guys receiver-wise that have big contracts. What I did was I looked at their cap hit this year, did the math for how much those teams are paying per receiving yard. And obviously his receiving yard number is not high, so it should look bad, right? CeeDee Lamb, they're paying $20,608 per yard. They paid for CeeDee Lamb based on his cap hit. Justin Jefferson, $18,983 per yard. Jamar Chase, $23,812 per yard. AJ Brown, $25,069 per yard. Like, that's not good, but
yeah.
Darius Slayton, $17,130 per yard. He's a more efficient player based on what we're paying him than those guys. Here's the problem is people are looking at his contract saying, oh my God, we're paying him all this crazy money. It's not crazy money anymore for receiver guys. It's not.
It's not.
We're giving him $35 million over 3 years. It's $12 million a year. That's not top receiver number, guys.
Yeah, it's not the NFL 10 years ago.
No.
Top receivers are getting 20 mil.
And you know what's going to happen?
More.
Guys? He's going to be on for 26 because he's got a big cap hit next year. I'm fair warning on that. He's got a big cap hit. Next year, he goes up to $16 million for the way they orchestrated this contract. And he'll be on there because it's pretty much all guaranteed. But the next year, if he has a year like this again, it's going to be time for a new contract or he's gone. Like I said, Slayton is what Slayton is, guys. He's always been what Slayton is. He's a deep receiver. He's going to piss you off sometimes because he drops the ball when he shouldn't. And he's going to get you about 700 yards a season, assuming he's healthy. That's just what he is. So, like I said, they'll figure it out with him. I think people need to worry less about his contract. I really do. Because I think people are just frustrated in general with everything that Shane has done. It's kind of molded into that kind of category.
So I think you're right.
That's what it is. $12 million a year for a receiver is not much, guys. He got paid based on what he does. That's what the going rate is for a guy who does 700 yards a season.
Crazy.
So I know it used to be, $6-7 million for a top receiver. It's just not that world anymore, guys. You got guys now getting paid $30 million to play receiver.
I was about to say, who's the big contract that's 25 that people came out with?
Yeah, I mean, here's the go for you. Would you rather have 3 Darius Slaytons or Jamar Chase?
Yeah, actually, give me Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is being paid $23,812 per yard.
With a backup quarterback that should be there, and they had to go pick up another quarterback. Joe Flacco was fine, get him some yards, and he also lost some stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you're going to see it, and you're going to see Pickens going to get paid big time this offseason and stuff like that. It's going to help the Giants, by the way, because maybe Wandale won't be looked at too much right there. But it's there. But like I said, I'm not worried about it. I think we're fine. I think that, we're worrying too much about contracts instead of what the performance is. His performance is on par with what he's done his career.
And how he got paid.
Exactly. So like I said, we've always stuck up for Darius Slayton. We will continue to because it is what it is. He's not a number 1. He's like a number 3 option, which is what if Neighbor was healthy, he would be the number 3 option.
Yeah.
So all right. Let's get into it with one more receiver. Everyone's favorite. Jalen Hyatt's year has been quite a step back yet again. Low separation, deep threat just not showing up at all. It's bad, guys. 7 games, 5 catches, 35 yards.
It's his career high.
We thought we couldn't get worse. It's gotten worse. I think all those catches and yards were in the Eagles game. It felt like too, it's just craziness, guys. I mean, if there's one guy that needs to go next year, it's Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah.
And I hate calling for people's jobs. I really do. He got to go. He gots to go.
He'll go to the Panthers and have a decent career.
We saved $1.5 million by cutting him. That's the craziness. We saved $1.5 million by cutting him. So, yeah, we're going to cut him. As Jason, you just told several people to retire, Drew. I know. I don't like doing it, though. I feel like a schmuck, but I'm still doing it. It is what it is. But like I said, I feel like there's not a shot in hell he's on the roster. That's all there is to it. I think the route he didn't finish running in the Packers just sealed his fate. It got to the point where the Giants came and stick up for him anymore. So yeah, that's enough on Jalen Hyatt. We'll get to the tight ends here. Now, also, I see Jay Snow says, haha, Friday nights at the Golden Corral. Forget about it. Listen, you haven't lived till you've had the pot roast burrito at the Golden Corral. The pot roast burrito. See, there's Jack. Oh, my gosh. The pot roast burrito. Okay, let's get to the tight ends here. Listen, I want to tell you guys, plain blank, we might even have to get the offensive line in next episode. We'll see, because we have a lot to go over next episode too. First up, we got to talk about the project QB that we drafted here. Theo Johnson. Point blank has the volume, but not the efficiency. A 61.8% catch rate from a tight end is a problem. That's a problem, guys. Like, I can't stress that enough, how much of a problem that really is. 13 games, 42 catches, 456 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Now, listen, for a second-year guy, that's not bad. Like, honestly, that's where we said about 500-600 yards we expected from this kid. Like, he is at where he should be as far as that. The problem is he gets the ball thrown to him so goddamn often that he should be at 600 yards already.
Especially this season, like with Dart, like
Dart loved
he
him.
tried to use him as a crutch, and like you saw that he threw to the tight ends a lot this year. Like Belly, I thought was done this year, and he came out a couple games, so he was there. What? We'll talk about him later.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I just feel like this is a kid that if he could ever get those hands done right, he has the potential to be almost Pro Bowl caliber. Like, legit, almost Pro Bowl caliber. I really think that's how good he's shown this year. He's always open. Always open. The problem is his hands are always closed, and he doesn't just catch the ball.
Yeah. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Yay.
Yeah, we got Wanda going like this. We have Theo going,
Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
He's like doing like the walk like an
Yeah, Wanda's like this.
It's like, but it's so disappointing because like the last couple of weeks I thought he did really good, and then last week he reverted back to his old self again. You know, and that's the issue I have. And as Jay just said too, he can block. Like, he's an all-around tight end. Like, he has the ability to be a really good tight end in this league. Like, you know what he kind of reminds me of? Like a Zach Ertz type.
Yeah, I was going to bring back similar to the Giants. Look at Slayton, 5 years ago coming over to the Giants. It was a little more dropping the ball than the past couple years. Yeah, kind of reverted back this year.
He's drops. It is what it is. I mean, that's part of who he is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I feel like that's what I feel like he has the potential to be. It's like a Zach Ertz kind of guy. A guy's going to get you like 600-700 yards, decent blocker, come up clutch. Like, he has that ability because he's come up clutch to be open. He just hasn't reeled the ball in.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. And again, we've said it before, and I'll say it again. He has so many, there's so many goddamn issues on this team as far as coaching wise that I can't condemn any player. So I think he's part of the future here. And I think if you can get that catching issue fixed, and I'm not in practice, so I don't pretend like I know what the problem is exactly. But if we can get that problem fixed, we got a young, solid tight end that I think is going to be really good for a long time. But if you can't get it fixed, you're going to have the next Evan Ingram. Then he'll go somewhere else, they'll fix it, and he'll be a Pro Bowl caliber tight end.
Sadly.
That's just what it is, And I just, we got to get him catch the ball. That's the one thing. Everything else, I love it about him. You even see the attitude. He wants to fight. He played for the ball. He wants to work hard. You can see all those things. Everything he wants right there. Just got to catch the
basics.
Yeah. I don't know if we got to put a little stick him on his gloves or what the deal is, but but
wipe the butter off.
All right, we got one more tight end to talk about here, and this is a guy that is near and dear to Rob and me's heart. I know that. Daniel Bellinger. Bellinger's development point blank stalled out, guys. Reliable blocker with a little bit of receiving impact there. 12 games, 202 yards, one touchdown. And there's been games where you see him all of a sudden there and then he just disappears for 3-4 weeks. I like Bellinger. I would love to have Bellinger on this roster again next year. We are pro Bellinger.
Yes. He just, like we've been saying in the past couple of years, he came out his rookie year. We thought he was just going to be a straight blocker. He might get 300 yards out of him. And he gets 450 after being hurt for half the season. Had a pretty solid year in 2022. And then he must have said something about Daboll's wife or Shane's wife or something. Yeah. And he got blocked to the sideline.
Yeah. And that's why Jay just said it too, and I'm going to agree with him. Bellinger is going to be on another roster next year, guys. He's not going to re-sign with the Giants. And watch him be a good starting tight end for somebody. Watch him do it. And I'm going to be flipping the hell out when he's like the next guy that does that. Because I honestly think he's so underused with the Giants. It's not even funny. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't get it. But somebody else
when he goes to the Cowboys.
Here's a young kid not being used enough, takes advantage of the chances he gets, good blocker. Let's give him a shot. And he gets a shot. He's going to take it. He's going to take it. So I do agree. I think that Bellinger is going to be the next guy that goes somewhere else and succeeds. Yeah. And it's a shame. He should have had a chance to succeed here. But instead, we're too busy getting Darren Waller to come here to play fullback. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Let's get into the offensive line here, guys, because that's the last topic here for today. And listen, it's a good topic for once. We have really a decent offensive line going this year. Andrew Thomas is obviously the big thing. He's elite. Everyone else is kind of a mixed bag there, but some good at least there. But
big improvement.
It's a big improvement. It's a big improvement. And I do think that, again, I said it before, I'll say it again, the coaching staff, listen, they all can go, but Bursillo is the one guy we have to keep. Bursillo has done a great job with this group. Andrew Thomas.
As I say, you and I beat the drum about firing the old offensive line coach, and now we get the new one in who's actually made a difference.
And we were happy when we got him because he did good work with jack shit in Vegas.
It's been the most serviceable offensive line we've had in over a decade.
Yes. Andrew Thomas, obviously the big name there, 87.8 PFF grade, and not getting enough love in Pro Bowl voting and stuff like that, by the way, if anybody hasn't Pro Bowl voted yet. Not that I care about that usually, but the Giants do, so what the hell. 87.8 PFF grade. Third amongst the 80 tackles that have qualified for the rating. So those who may not be aware of PFF, they give you a rating no matter what, but you have to reach a certain snap count to go ahead and get the rating. Otherwise, it's too small a sample. It's fake. It's fugazi, So 80 have qualified. Andrew Thomas is third in the league out of all tackles. That's insane. 86.6 passing block grade. That's fourth best. 80.5 run block grade. That's eighth best. Elite. Point blank, elite.
Hands up.
Well, he has his hands up because he's a tight end. He's a tackle. He's got to, got to hit people. And John Runyon Jr., left guard, obviously. This is a guy that, quite frankly, I'd love to get an upgrade over. There's not a lot of guys I'm going to sit there and say that on the offensive line. He's one. 53.4 PFF grade. Ranked 60th out of 79 guards. 58.1 pass blocking grade. That's 58th. 51.6 run blocking grade. That's 62nd. Not great. And this is a guy we're paying a lot of money to, guys. Like, we talk about issues with people we signed. This is one right there. Issues with people we signed. John Runyon Jr. we said it, we got him. A really bad signing. We paid way too much for him.
We had to, though.
I don't ever buy that you have to. I'd rather get a cheap guy and not ruin cap space. He's got almost a $12 million cap hit this year, guys.
He does. And the problem is, no offensive line player wants to come over here because we have such a bad offensive line play going on. We had such a bad play for so long that who wants to come over here and ruin their own stats? So you kind of have to overpay, especially in the free market, to start improving what you have going on here.
Yeah.
It's just what we had to do at the time.
Oh, again,
average.
I don't disagree that we had to. We did it because we wanted to. We wanted him. You saw them literally on Hard Knocks. On Hard Knocks. They said, oh, the Jets are offering him this. Oh, we'll throw him in $1 million or $2 million. Like, they were fine with overpaying for this guy because they wanted him. And he's just not that good. We said at the time he was a really good pass blocker with the Packers. Really, really bad run blocker. And now he can't do either. So, listen, next year, $11.75 million cap hit. you save 9.25 by cutting him. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. So, but listen, disappointing. JMS, John Michael Schmitz. His name is my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout. There goes John Michael Schmitz. Now listen, improved year for JMS. And I think his numbers here, which we'll get to in a second, aren't necessarily indicative of that, using a Scrabble word, because he got better towards the last month and a half there. He started out rough and he's gotten better. So
he did 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's played his way into next year being the center again for two reasons. One, he's cheap. And two, he's a guy that we have a lot of other holes to fill near him. We might have to fill out both guard positions. We might have to figure out about right tackle. It's just, it is what it is. He's not good enough that in a normal situation, you wouldn't go, oh, well, this guy's definitely pencil him right in at center next year. But because of the other issues, we're penciling him in probably. 60.4 PFF grade is 24th out of 37 centers. 59.1 pass blocking is 25th. 61.5 run blocking, also 25th. So, like I said, I wish, and I don't pay for the PFF subscription, so if anybody has that, they want to go ahead and pop it in there, feel free. I'm curious if they give you what he's done per game and kind of average that out and figure that part of it out, because I'm sure it's better than the last month or two. The eye test says that's what it is. He's probably never going to be great, though, guys. He's probably never going to be. And it's a shame because, it's disappointing for a second-round pick to be an average guy. That's disappointing, point blank. You want him to be at least above average.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. Not every pick hits. And of all the picks that Joe Schoen has missed on, this is not the one I'm so pissed at.
No, because I also have to wonder too.
Looking at you, Eric Ray.
Yeah, with that. I'm just worried. I'm just curious to see, because you saw the progression through this year, especially in the second half of the year he's played thus far. See where he goes in the last few weeks of football we have this year. If he keeps going this way and you get Priscilla back next year, like, you bring him back, how does that progress work? Does he stay where he's at now, or does that progress to be way better where he looks above average? And then, is that pick that bad? Because you put him in at a hard spot on a bad line with bad coaching.
Yeah, and he's also had tons of injuries.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm willing to give him another year. I really am. It's just, like I said, I just feel like it's partially because of the other issues of the line. Greg Van Roden. Solid veteran guy. That's just what he is. He is average. That's what he is. But he's also a guy that we're barely paying any money to, basically. And quite frankly, I think he'll be back again next year because nobody else. You saw how late we got him this year. The people are not knocking down the door to get Greg Van Roten, which is a shame. Again, he's a solid, average guard. That's what he is.
Yeah,
he's a star.
Yeah.
62.6 PFF rate overall, 37th out of 79 guards there. Again, average. 66.8 pass blocking grade. That's 26th best. 59.0 run blocking grade. That's 42nd. Like I said, I think that's what he just is. He's just a solid veteran guy. You don't have to pay a lot of money. Comes in, does his job, doesn't really sit there and impress you, but doesn't piss you off either. And he's a solid veteran, which is good to have on this roster. When, like, be honest, a lot of these guys are younger, especially next year if we get rid of Runyon and like a guy like Marcus Bowe takes the spot or something like that.
You might argue this also veterans possibly one of his better career years. Not saying it's great, but yeah, I'll take it. He's back next year.
That's what I'm saying. Just solid. Yeah. Is what he is. Jermaine Illuminor. This is the guy we got to worry about trying to get back next year. And I got to say, his PFF grades I thought were lower than where I thought they'd be. And again, I tell people this all the time. PFF is not the end all. PFF is just the one thing I can give you to show you some kind of statistic on players. It's not like I can tell you how many catches and rushes they've had. Like for linemen, it's the perfect way to give you something stat wise. 61.9 PFF grade. It's 52nd out of 80 tackles. So basically just below average. That's where they had him. And honestly, it's the run blocking killing him, because you look at the pass blocking grade, 28th out of 80 tackles with a 73.2 pass blocking grade. That's damn good. Then you got 53.1 run blocking grade, 68th out of 80. But again, this is why it's, again, I say it all the time with PFF. I don't always trust it. It's not the Bible. It's just, it's what I can give you stat wise. I think he's better than that. I think there's going to be a huge market for Jermaine Illuminor. I really do. I think you talk about Wandale. This is the guy that we got to figure out how to sign. That's going to be the guy that we got to figure out. And I don't know how easy it's going to be. I do think Bracillo is part of that equation as well, because he wants to play with Bracillo. This is why I keep saying we got to find a way to keep Bracillo too. Beyond that, he's followed him from New England to Vegas, down to the Giants. So got to figure it out. But
I think you keep Bracillo. I think.
Well, the problem is you could say keep Bracillo, but that's not our decision. It's not anybody's decision with the coaches. You got to get the coach that wants to work with him, and he wants to work with as well.
I agree. I hear what you're saying, but I think
hey, Bracillo, you're part of the talks.
Well, I'm saying your best opportunity to keep Luminor is Bracillo's still here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to pay the guy.
We're happy to have both of them back.
Yeah.
We're happy to have
you
both
pay
of
the
them
guy,
back.
and Luminor also grew up a Giants fan, so
yeah,
that's pay the guy and just pay for the team he grew up watching.
He grew up in Jersey, so
I'm saying.
But Marcus Bowe, that's the guy that you kind of go plug in and go like, okay, can he play at one of these positions if we don't sign one of these guys, or if we cut a guy like Running loose? He's got a rating, and he doesn't qualify for the ranking. The rest of the guys don't, because they're backups. They haven't played enough. 54.6 PFF grade, 36.4 pass block grade. Yeah, that's bad. But 78.1 run blocking grade, which is really damn good. I honestly, we said this when we drafted him. I like the draft pick. I like the kid overall. I think he's a guard. That's what I really think he is. He's a guard. And I would not be shocked at all if they have him take over John Running's spot next year. Bring back Illuminor, bring back Van Roden, and run it back like that. And I think he fits the bill. He fits the bill 100%. And like I said, they like him. They gave him a shot at that point there earlier in the season when, Andrew Thomas was down. And it did disappoint. Didn't look great, don't get me wrong. But for a guy to be a day 3 pick and go out there in the first month of the year and not embarrass himself, that's something.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So now, who did embarrass himself? James Hudson III. Esquire. And you know that we were flipping out when we signed him. Rob and I were flipping the hell out. Like, why do we sign this kid? He sucks. Like, what the hell? And we don't try to be negative people. Like, not when it comes to like signings. Like, we already got them. You might as well hope for the best. I was pissed we brought him in. He gets in a fight at the sideline when he gets pulled out of a game with Brian Daboll after getting 17 consecutive false starts. I felt like
maybe 18.
32.5 PFF grade, 46 pass blocking grade, 49.9 run blocking grade. Not good, guys. Not good. And again, another waste point blank of money. And I never understood why we got him. I never understood it from the get-go. I will still not understand it. And I'd love to ask Joe Schoen that so we can understand the question. That was a horrible signing. Now, we gave this kid 2 years, $11.7 million. We basically paid him $6 million a year. Now, there wasn't a lot of guaranteed money. A lot of the money is in year 2. So just to throw that out there, because his guaranteed money was $1.4 million. His base salary was 1.4 this year, and he's only owed from the prorating signing bonus at that point. He's owed $2.3 million next year. So that's it. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of him, and we're gonna save $5.5 million next year, guys. So the crappy part is he got $6.3 million out of us for playing 1 year and barely playing because Joe Schoen made a horrendous decision.
Panicked, made a bad choice. Cut your loss.
Forsyth and all those guys, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you bringing these crappy players in that just suck? Absolutely suck. So, Jason, how much is that per penalty? It's $1 per penalty. It felt like based on how many penalties he had.
Oh my god, 50 cents.
It's insanity.
I'm at half right now. There,
a guy that was actually a surprising bright spot for us here, and a guy that Rob and I have talked very highly of him the last couple of years with the Giants. He really hasn't gotten much of a chance to play. He got a chance to play this year. Austin Schlottman stepped in twice for JMS, and I thought played pretty decent. In fact, he's got a better PFF grade than JMS even. 66.3 PFF grade, 80.7 pass blocking grade, 62.5 run blocking grade. I would love to see him back next year. I would love to see him be a guy that, again, we talk about the John Runyon thing. Let's say we get rid of John Runyon. Maybe you give him a shot. Maybe you throw it in there as a competition. He's played guard before, just for the record, in case he's going, that's crazy. Why would you? He's a center. You can't just do that. He's played guard before. He's not just a full-on center.
Yeah, have a little depth. It'd be nice.
And again, I'll say this because Jay just put his comment of, he said, yeah, you're so bullish on JMS, and this dude off the street is better. This dude's not off the street. This guy's been in the NFL now for freaking 7 years. He started for Minnesota at center when Bradbury kept getting his back injured, stuff like that. So if you go back to the 22 season, we played the Vikings twice. He was their starting center those two games. Like I said, he's a solid backup veteran guy, but you know what? I don't think it's crazy to say that he's played well enough when he's had a chance to start. He doesn't get a chance to play if he needs to. We said about him being better than JMS, again, just PFF wise, we're talking obviously. He freaking blows John Runyon out of the water. So it is what it is. And Jay Snows is out of Yankee hat. No, I was raised right. Just ticking off all the Yankees fans now. It is what it is. But listen, Schlottman I think sticks around. And I think he is a good backup with the potential to be a guy if you're going to have an open competition for a potential offensive line spot, he should be in it. But again, great offensive line this year. But we got to figure it out. We got to figure out this line in the offseason. But it's a great problem to have. We got to figure out how to keep people for once, not figure out how to just fill up spots because we have nobody that's any good. It is what it is. I like it. I'm good with it. So, what's it with the hat comments here now? Jay said a Disney Winnie the Pooh hat, knowing Drew. It's not a Disney Winnie the Pooh hat, though. Though I do love theme parks. This is it's a Dollywood shirt I'm wearing, actually.
It's an Eeyore hat.
No, it's a Giants hat. You guys have seen me wear this hat before. I don't know what it is. Turn it around. Oh my God, this is insane.
Turn around.
You know what? I'll turn it around for a $20 super chat. I'll make that deal with you. How about that? I'll turn it around for a $20 super chat.
Geez, really milk it, huh?
I just hell. Turn it around. Show the hair.
Show the hair. Show the hair.
There's not much hair left. That's a $100 super chat right there.
Did for free for you.
My hair's a mess, guys. Anyway,
that's this morning.
We'll be back again with you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do our rundown of the defensive players here, similar fashion that we did today with the offense, and of course we're going to go through our picks. Now we didn't get a chance this week to go over our recap everything because the Giants played Monday night. But Rob, are you in there booing me?
What happened?
I don't hear the comment section doing me. But yeah, like I said, we're doing our picks still, and we did break the tie. We did break the tie here. So, yep, there we go. So, anyway, guys, we're back again tomorrow night. As always, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, we're on YouTube, the preferred platform, along with, of course, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite, my link. And, of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all of the big ones there. So if you haven't already, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share, tell a friend about the show, because point blank, we suck at marketing, need your help, guys. Well, first off, Jason, you just said freaking Mets fans. You're assuming I'm a Met fan now. Don't assume. Don't assume.
There may be a few this year.
What?
Oh.
What was that? What? What did you say?
So there may be one that's here. Oh.
There may be one of those here, but it's not me.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, we'll be back again tomorrow night for you. Go ahead and go over that stuff for you. Appreciate you guys watching, listening, supporting as always. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please,